I want you to think about something. How many times have you changed what you were going to do because you were worried about what somebody else would think? Not a coach or a parent, but other players, people on social media, the crowd at the game. Maybe you wanted to try a new move, but didn't want to look foolish. Or you felt like you could be a leader, but you waited for somebody else to step up. Welcome to the Basketball Book Club. I'm your host, Coach Benny. That pressure to fit in, to follow the crowd, to not stand out, it's real and it's powerful. More than 180 years ago, a writer named Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote an essay speaking directly to this feeling. It's called Self-Reliance, and it might be one of the most important things a young basketball player can read. Emerson opens with a powerful idea. He writes, to believe your own thought, to believe that what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men. That is genius. Think about that for a second. Genius isn't being the smartest person in the room. It's about trusting your own voice. Emerson believed that every person has a gleam of light that flashes across their mind from within. That little idea, that small instinct, that quiet feeling that you know exactly what to do. That's your genius trying to speak up. But most of us distrust it. Why? Because it's ours. We think, if it came from me, it can't be that valuable. Emerson disagrees strongly. Here's where Emerson gets really direct. He writes one of the most famous lines in American literature. Envy is ignorance. Imitation is suicide. Let that sink in. When you try to be someone else, when you copy another player's game instead of developing your own, when you act like someone you're not just to fit in, you're not just making a mistake. You're killing the player you were meant to become. Emerson says you have to take yourself, for better or for worse, as your portion. This means you are who you are. These are your strengths, and these are your weaknesses. Own all of it, because no one else can be you. Now, when Emerson says be a nonconformist, he doesn't mean being difficult for the sake of being difficult. He means something deeper. He writes, whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. He's not talking about breaking rules for attention. He's talking about not letting the world squeeze you into its mold. On the court, this means not playing a certain way just because everybody else does. Not being afraid to be the player who studies film when everybody else is scrolling on their phones. Not being afraid to speak up in the big moments. Emerson believed that society everywhere is in conspiracy against the manhood of every one of its members. That simply means that the crowd will always try to pull you towards average. Your job is to resist. Here's one of my favorite parts from the essay. Emerson talks about a little boy sitting in a room full of adults. The boy doesn't care about their opinions. He watches them and judges them on their merits and gives an independent, genuine verdict. He doesn't worry about consequences. He doesn't worry about what they think of him. He just tells the truth as he sees it. Then Emerson contrasts it with the adults. He says that as soon as we grow up, we are clapped into jail by our consciousness. We become prisoners of what other people think. Emerson wants you to reclaim that childhood freedom. The freedom to speak your mind. The freedom to trust your instincts. The freedom to be yourself. But here's the hard part. When you start trusting yourself, when you stop imitating, when you refuse to conform, people won't always get it. They'll question your choices. They'll doubt your path. They'll misunderstand you. Emerson's response? Is it so bad to be misunderstood? He lists some of the greatest minds in history. Pythagoras, Socrates, Jesus, Luther, Galileo, and Newton. Every single one of them was misunderstood in their time. Emerson concludes, to be great is to be misunderstood. If you are doing something different, waking up early to train while others are still sleeping, reading books while others scroll on their phone, chasing a dream that seems impossible, don't expect everyone to understand. That's not a sign that you're wrong. It might be a sign that you're on the right track. This week, Emerson has a simple challenge for you. Find one moment in practice, in a game, in your life, where you can trust your own voice instead of following the crowd. Maybe it's speaking up in the huddle when you have an idea. Maybe it's doing the extra work when nobody else is. Maybe it's as simple as not laughing at a joke that you don't find funny. One moment, one act of self-trust. Emerson promises Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Nothing can bring you peace but the triumph of principles. Trust yourself. Be yourself. Don't imitate. Don't conform. And don't be afraid to be misunderstood. One page at a time.